You probably had to start it back up. Oh, do it say it's live? All right, most high correct. Maybe the connection just dropped. Nah, I don't see it, but let's keep going, I guess. So we live on your screen? Okay, most high in Christ. Let's get Genesis 6:1.
Genesis chapter 6, verse 1. And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and the daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair.
Who are the sons of God? You know this one. Come on, the sons of God.
The Israelites.
No,
Well, God showed them.
that's correct. It would be the people who the Most High was with before the Israelites, right? So this is before the Israelites, and so God has always had a people that He was with. Of course, Adam being the first that He breathed the breath of life into, and so Adam's descendants were the sons of God, right? So what did the sons of God see? The sons of God saw the daughters of men, and that they were fair, that they looked good to them. Right. And again, you see these, oppressors' daughters, and because of your indoctrination, because of, your standard of beauty and how it's pushed on you and the propaganda that's pushed on you, you look at them like they are just gorgeous. Right. When there's nothing better than a so-called Black, Hispanic, or Native American woman. Nothing. Everything else is, second rate. But of course, you living in America, and what do you see on TV most of the time? Who do you see in school? Who do you see on your jobs? Who do you see damn near everywhere you go? The oppressor's daughter. And of course, she, just like in the Bible in Genesis, they begin to look fair, right? Keep going.
And they took them wives of all which they chose.
All which they chose. They took wives of them all which they chose. But what we read in Tobit, you got to take it. You got to chiefly take a woman from the seed of your father. So that limits your choice, which is good. That limits your choice to what the Most High said you should have, because the scripture we just read in Genesis said they took them wives of which they chose. Oh, go ahead. All right. So let's keep going. In verse 3. And the Most High said, "My spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh, yet his days shall be numbered 120 years." Most High was like, "Man, I ain't gonna be fighting with you. You know what? I'm gonna limit your life. I ain't gonna be sitting here, back and forth with you. I'm just gonna do something that's gonna limit your life. I'm gonna cut your years." Right? So let's drop down to verse 5. It says, "And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually." Right? Verse 6, "And it repented the Lord that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart. And the Lord said, I will destroy man from whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, and the creeping thing, and the fowls of the air, for it repented me that I have made them." Right? Verse 8, "But Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord." So why did the Most High want to destroy the earth? Because he established something with Adam and Adam's descendants. And they were supposed to marry within each other as a family. That's why Adam got a rib and said, "She is bone of my bone and flesh of my fat flesh." She is of my family. And that's who he married. He married someone from his family, right? Someone from his family. But the sons of God, the rest of the sons of God, they married wives of all which they chose. And of course, it angered the Most High, angered him so much that he said, "You know what? I'm going to destroy man from off the face of the earth." But instead of destroying everybody, he found favor. Right? Noah found favor in the sight of the Most High, and so Noah was a man who served the Lord, right? And because of that reason, we walk around on the earth today because Noah found favor in the Lord's sight. But the Most High destroyed the earth, wiped everybody off the earth with a flood because of interracial marriage. Because they didn't take a seed, they didn't take bone of their bone and flesh of their flesh. They got strange women. You understand? It says, the sons of God saw the daughters of men that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. That's why the Lord flooded the earth. Because brothers don't want to marry within their own family. They don't want to take another black, Hispanic, or Native American. They want a heathen woman. They want a woman from somewhere where the Most High didn't establish a covenant with. He established a covenant with the sisters from your family, not your oppressor's daughter, not the East Indians, right? Not the Ammonites, the Moabites, the Ishmaelites, none of that. All right. Any questions online? Come on. All right, let's get a little bit more of the book, and then we're gonna close it out.
When their men presented these women happily and enthusiastically relinquished such responsibilities and exonerated their men to handle that one what the historian has called a man's business. In the view of more than a few historians, American slavery and domestic slave trade, those were especially the case when it came to business of buying, selling, and hiring slave people. The scholars claim that the last and single business transaction of human beings were considered ill-suited to white ladies.
Right.
They were, they were her property. I built upon these earlier studies, but I also depart from them in significant ways. I focus specifically on women who own enslaved people in their own right, and in particular on their experience married slave-owned women.
Right. So this author is saying in this book that we're about to get into now. Granted, this is really just the introduction or the preface, or maybe even the early parts of the first chapter. He's saying he's going to build upon the history of your oppressor's daughters who was married into slavery, but he's more importantly going to focus on the ones who own slaves on their own, right? Who voluntarily own slaves. And he's going to make you understand and see that their role in it again was heinous, and your perception of them is false, and you love them for no reason. So if you ever feel like there's a reason you should not hate your oppressor's daughter less than you hate your oppressor, then you're sadly mistaken. Like, there's been an equal amount of oppression from both of them throughout the course of time, and them definitely throughout slavery. And so this book gets into the nitty gritty, so to speak, of their role in slavery. As the first example we read with Martha Gibbs and how evil she was and the role that she played, and her husband couldn't tell her what to do with her slaves. This book goes on to tell you about how many of your oppressors married women who already owned slaves, and a lot of times throughout history, the women, if say there was a divorce, the women were legally allowed to keep them. But the men, I'll tell you how they benefited off this too, which is interesting because when you talk to oppressors today, they say, well, I never owned slaves and blah 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 and blah blah blah, right? But one part of the article says, not article, one part of the book goes in and talks about how if an oppressor uh, you know, married a female oppressor, right? He wasn't entitled to her slaves. But what he could do was, because of her wealth, take out loans, right? And buy land and use the land to work, use the land or use her slaves to work the land. And so there was a mutually beneficial relationship between, a woman who owned slaves and a man who came to a relationship without any money. He eventually earned the money, right? He was eventually able to come up off of her slaves. And so if they ever got a divorce, not only like she came into the relationship and she was wealthy, now he's also wealthy. So never let these oppressors tell you, well, I didn't own slaves. You benefit from slavery today. You benefit from slavery. Your great grandfather benefited from slavery. His father benefited from slavery, even if he didn't officially own slaves. There's all kind of benefits that happens from, you know, from someone in your family owning slaves, or you just being, a proud oppressor. Just the whole spirit behind being the top race in a country. You get what I'm saying, Kamal? Say you didn't own slaves. Can you imagine? Most black people don't have, the confidence or the attitude to believe that they're going to make it in America. A lot of black people you talk to, man, the pressure of being black in America is great upon them, and they cannot succeed, and it's generational. Where your oppressor, even if he didn't own slaves, his family, right? His family knows he was brought up believing he's the number one person in America, and it's true. He's number one. Just that fact alone can boost your confidence. What do a lot of black people have in this country? Post-traumatic stress syndrome. Most black people have mental conditions that haven't been diagnosed because of the pressure of living in America, the pressure of going to a job, being the last hired and the first fired, the pressure of being pulled over by the cops and wondering if you're going to die, the pressure of being denied loans, the pressure of, working menial jobs. All these things contribute to the downfall of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans in America. So whether you benefited directly or not from slavery, you damn sure benefited indirectly from slavery. You understand? So, any questions online? Come on. All right, let me get that book, phone show. All right, so this again, this is they were her property. I ordered it on Amazon, and again, I only ordered it because General Hyman recommended it, and it teaches you about the role of your oppressor's daughter and how integral she was in the enslavement and the management of the slaves of black people. Right? Don't give them a pass. Don't think because you find them attractive that they can get a pass and it's okay if you marry them and you just that's not what the Lord wants. We read several scriptures about how you got to marry a seed from your a seed of your father, right? A seed from your father's family. You got to take a wife from your father's family, right? You got to marry another black, Hispanic, or Native American woman. You shouldn't look at these oppressors' daughters and say, you know what, I need to be with one, when they were just as intricate in destroying you. All right. So with that, I'm gonna pass the class to Precinct Officer Kamal.
ISUPK security announcement.
Let's see if we can get you on camera.
ISUPK security announcements. We are the ISUPK, started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rules for new brothers and sisters. When the brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They're to be saluted only. They are here to shake themselves to the world. If they need transportation, the team will arrange it. After 6 months, if the brother or sister is interested in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. Another 6 months in which a brother and sister will court each other. After the 6 month period, brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment, Numbers 18:21, Malachi 30:8-10, means tenth in Hebrew, Ma'ashra, tenth of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory, whatsoever amount you would like. Up and coming holy convocations, which is the closing of the feast.
June 21st.
June 21st. Remind your Aqua to check the bulletin board in the hallway. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black boots, shirts, boots, shirts, pants, and headband and scarf. And with that being said, in the name of Israel, Amadrim, upon the Aqua Dome, which means to face the east. The Lord's Prayer in English. It's like the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew. Abanawa. Shabbat Shemayah. Kodash. Hayah. Shemkah. Yahweh. Malakaka. Taba'ah. Ratazayaka. Hayah. Aisha. Ba'aratiza. Kawa. Hayah. Bashemayah, Nathan, Lanawa, Lakam, Call, Yawam, Wasalakanawa, Kabawathianawa, Kasalakanawa, Kabawathianawa, Wala'ah, Taba'ayanawa, Bundesai 1, a ball, Washayanawa, Mayan, Rad, Kaya, Laka, Amalakwa, Wala Tapara, La Walayanya, Amen.
The Lord's Prayer in English. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. In earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our debts. As we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation. But deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom. And the power. And the glory. Forever. So be it.
The prayer for the Kat in Hebrew. Yahweh. Ba'ashem Yahushua. Baba Kushah. Nathan Haka. Larpar. Kal Maka'ah. Wakal Marawa. Haka. Natahar. Hamatazariah. Haka. Laquakian. Hamatian. Haka. Arakawa. Hamata'ala. Lagarsham. Ba'ashem. Yahushua. Kawada.
What we just said in English is Yahweh. In the name of Yahushua. Please give us the power. The power to heal. All manner of sickness. And all manner of disease. The power to cleanse the lepers. The power to raise the dead. The power against unclean spirits. To cast them out. In the name of Yahushua. Thank you. So be it.
blessings in the Hebrew. Barakatah Yahweh.
Barakatah Yahweh.
Wayahweh Shai.
Wayahweh Shai.
Wamyaka Allah.
Wamyaka Allah.
Walayah.
Walayah.
Matazabaya.
Matazabiyah.
Alawap Yahana.
Alawap Yahana.
Halawap Yam.
Alawap Yam.
Hazarayim.
Hasharayim.
Hakwatazayayim.
Hakwatazayayim.
Haikatazayayim.
Haikayayoyim.
Wa'akut. Wahakwatiyam.
Wahakwatiyam.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Ba'ashem.
Ba'ashem.
Yahweh Shai.
Yahweh Shai.
Wa'araman.
Wa'araman. What we just said in the English was, bless you, Yahweh.
Bless you, Yahweh.
And Yahweh Shai.
And Yahweh Shai.
And Michael.
And Michael.
And the angel.
And the angel.
Commanding General Yohana.
Commanding General Yohana.
The generals.
The general.
The captains.
Captain.
The officers.
The officers.
The troopers.
The troopers.
And the sisters.
And the sisters.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
In the name of Yahweh Shai.
In the name of Yahweh Shai.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So be it.
The anointing prayer in Hebrew. Yabaraki Yahweh.
Yabaraki Yahweh.
Washamarka.
Washamarka.
Yahar.
Yahar.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Penyawa.
Penyawa.
Alaka.
Alika.
Waika.
Oh.
Wayashanka.
Oh, Wayakanka.
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 Washa.
Washa.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Penyawa.
Penyawa.
Alyaka.
Alyaka.
Washem.
Washem.
Laka.
Laka.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Bashem.
Bashem.
Yahushai.
Yahushai.
Barak.
Barak.
Rapah.
Rapah.
Magun.
Magun.
Hagun.
Hagun. All the destroyed of Israel.
All of the destroyed of Israel.
Done.
All of the destroyed of Israel.
All the destroyed of Israel.
Done. Bashem.
Bashem.
Yahushai.
Yahushai.
The Wadaman.
The Wadaman. What we just said in English was, Yahweh bless thee and keep thee.
Yahweh bless thee and keep thee.
Yahweh make his face shine upon thee.
Yahweh make his face shine upon thee.
And be gracious unto thee.
And be gracious unto thee.
Yahweh lift up his countenance upon thee.
Yahweh lift up his countenance upon thee.
And give thee peace.
And give thee peace.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
In the name of Yahushua.
Name Yahushua.
Bless.
Bless.
Heal.
Heal.
Shield.
Heal.
Protect.
Protect.
ISUPK curses. Blessed are you, Yahweh.
Blessed are you, Yahweh.
King of heaven and earth.
King of heaven and earth.
And all things living.
And all things living.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
In the name of Yahushua.
In the name of Yahushua.
Listen to us now.
Listen to us now.
Right now.
Right now.
Send evils and curses.
Send evils and curses.
And punishment and destruction.
And punishment and destruction.
To the heathen.
To the heathen.
That speak against us.
That speak against us.
Thy prophets.
Thy prophets.
The teachers.
Thy teachers.
The princes.
The princes.
The priests.
The priests.
The Israelite brothers.
The Israelite brothers.
And the school.
And the schools.
Send evils and curses.
Send evils and curses.
And punishment and destruction.
And punishment and destruction.
To the heathen.
To the heathen.
And shake loose the treasure.
And shake loose the treasures.
Of the rich of Israel.
Of the rich of Israel.
That refuse to give to the school.
That refuse to give to the school.
Force their riches.
Force the riches.
To enter into thy sanctuary.
To enter into thy sanctuary.
Send evils and curses.
Send evils and curses.
And punishment and destruction.
And punishment and destruction.
To the Edomites.
To the Edomites.
And the nations.
In the nation.
And their drug dealers.
And the drug dealers.
The court system.
The court system.
The prison system.
The prison system.
Planned Parenthood.
Planned Parenthood.
All the governments of our enemies.
All the governments of our enemies.
Amalek synagogues and armies.
Amalek synagogues, armies.
Roman Catholic Church.
Roman Catholic Church.
The Pope.
The Pope.
Islam.
Islam.
Christianity.
Christianity.
Egyptology.
Egyptology.
Militia.
Militia.
Ku Klux Klan.
Ku Klux Klan.
Aryan Nation.
Aryan Nation.
Skinheads.
Skinhead.
Posse Comitatus.
Posse Comitatus.
The gay movement.
The gay movement.
The lesbian movement.
Lesbian movement.
Spies.
Spies.
Workers of witchcraft.
Workers of witchcraft.
NASA space program.
NASA space program.
Army.
Army.
Navy.
Navy.
Air Force.
Air Force.
Marines.
Marine.
Wall Street.
Wall Street.
Open up the internet.
Open up the internet.
And the airwaves.
The
The cable access channel.
cable access channel.
And the radio
And
channel.
the radio channel.
Convict the spirit
Convict the spirit
of any of thy people
of many of thy people
that seek to stop
and
us
seek to stop us
and bring swift destruction
and spring swift to stuff
to all the heathen
to all the heathen
that stand in the way
that stand in the way
or try to stop
or
us
try to stop us
from broadcasting your
from
word
broadcasting your word
throughout the planet Earth.
throughout the planet Earth.
Let loose all the plagues.
Let loose all the plagues.
Cause them to go to and fro
Cause them to go to and fro
through the earth and consume them.
through the earth and consume them.
Let the plague shake
Let the plague shake
the house of the thief and the murderer.
the house and the thief of the murder.
Let Yahushua,
let Yahushua,
Michael and Gabriel,
Michael and David,
come down with the flying saucers
come down with the flying saucer,
and punish all the heathens
punish all the heathens
that come up against us
come up against us
as we speak thy word.
as we speak thy word.
Because it be known by all.
Cause to be known by all.
It is the angels that have done it.
It is the angels that have done it.
Because it be spread through the media,
Cause to be spread through the media,
throughout the whole world.
throughout the whole world.
Causing the shake of thy coming.
Cause to shake it thy
In
coming.
the name of Yahushua,
In the name of Yahushua,
thank you always.
thank you always.
So be it.
So be it. Sar means the turn. Give a courtesy salute to the teacher. Men of Israel, Amazon Shabbat, Amazon, Barak, Yahweh Hashem, Yahushua Barakatah.
Yahweh Shem Yahshua Barakatah.
Good. Class is Smith.